Hello and welcome to Instant Graphics Now. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can edit the embroidery mockup PSD file using the Photopea software. So let's get started. The first thing I want to demonstrate to you is what Photopea looks like. So you go to photopea.com to access this free graphics file editor. Now, just a word of warning for today's tutorial. I happen to be stuck at a really slow internet connection today, so this video may be a little longer than usual, but if you are at home or at work using a regular, normal, healthy internet connection, your processing of this file will go much faster than what's shown in this video. So please just keep that in mind. So when you go to photopea.com, you're going to see what we have on the screen here. It's Photopea, and it allows you to upload the files to start working on them. So before we upload them, I'm going to switch just briefly so we can see what it is we're going to be working with. All right, so when you download the embroidery mockup file, it's going to be a zipped file, and then what you'll do is you'll unzip it and you'll get a folder that is created on your computer that contains the file. So that's the folder I just double clicked, and it's going to contain a file that's named embroidery design mockup dash instant graphics now. Okay, so that you know that's the file that you purchased. Now, in today's example, I'm also going to be using a logo design to replace the existing one that's already in there, so you can see how to replace it with your own design. All right, and so the one that I'm going to be using in today's example is this. So we're going to insert this into the mockup to create a new mockup file, and you can see, you can work with it from there based on whatever your needs are. So let's switch back to Photopea. So when you go to photopea.com, the option that you're going to use is the one in the middle that says open from computer. This is what you're going to use to open the file that you just downloaded from Etsy. So you're going to click that, and you're going to navigate to wherever you saved the file. In this case, I'm going to go to that folder. I'm going to click on that file, and I'm going to click open. And you have to give it a moment to load. And like I said, you're probably going to be on a normal internet connection, unlike what I'm using for this video. So yours will load much faster. So let's just wait a moment here and allow the file to load. And while this is loading, I just want to point out that in the example I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be inserting another logo design, but you don't have to insert another pre-made design. You can draw another design in the mockup area. If you don't already have something pre-designed, you can draw something in there using Photopea. And so just keep that in mind. It doesn't have to be a pre-made design that you insert, even though most people who are using this mockup file, that's what they're doing. They have an image of an embroidery design, and they're just inserting that image into the mockup so that it can be replicated on that surface and give the appearance of embroidery that then they'll use for their catalog or for their customers, etc. So let's give this a moment to load. And again, apologies if this is taking too long. Since this will be on YouTube, feel free to fast forward. Okay, so here we go. So this is what it looks like once the file is loaded in Photopea. So you'll notice that on the right-hand side, this is where you see the layers of this file that you can work with. So in our case, we're going to be clicking on the drop-down arrow next to the addition layer. Okay, so when you click that, one of the sub layers under there, you can see that it says the words in there, place your design here. So this is the layer that you're going to double click that will allow you to insert your design that will replace this design right here. So I'm going to double click on that. And again, you're going to have to give that a moment to open, and it opens. So now this design is on here. So if you have a design that's already made, and the way I do, what you're going to do is you're going to insert that design here, and you'll be able to save it, and you'll be able to hide this design. Okay. So let's see how that's done. In order to insert a pre-made design, you're going to go to the File menu, and you're going to click on the option that says Open and Place. So click on Open and Place, and here's where you're going to select your pre-made design. So keep in mind that if it's a pre-made design, it does need to have a transparent background. And PNG files are usually what produces a transparent background when you save it. So just keep that in mind, that if you're inserting a design that is not a PNG and has a colored background, that colored background will transfer to the mockup and it won't display correctly. So make sure it has a transparent background. So I'm going to select my design with a transparent background and I'm going to click on open. And I'm going to allow that to work so that Photopea can place it there. Now initially you see that it's placed on top of the design that was already there. And that's fine. It can be resized from here. You can do whatever editing you need to do with it at this point. But what we're also going to make sure that we do is that we hide that circle design that was originally on there. So the way that you do that is that you click on the eyeball that's next to the one we want to hide, right? So when we click on that eyeball, and I'll give it a moment, you'll notice that it hides that, and so the only one that actually displays is the one that we inserted. So now at this point, I know that this is what I want to be inserted into mockup, and so I'm going to save that change. So I'm going to again go back to the file menu, and this time I'm going to go down to the option that says save smart object, okay, because what we're editing is a smart object. So we're going to click on that, and then we're going to give it time to work. So again, we're going to be waiting for a moment here, and it may take a while because this is a slow internet connection. So again, feel free to fast forward, and you may get this message if you're on a slow internet connection like me. You may get it at least one more time, but usually like I said, on a normal speed internet connection, this takes milliseconds. So let's just wait for it to process. And again, we're just gonna click on wait to allow it to finish processing our command. And when it does, what we'll get is a message that says that the smart object has been updated, just like this. And now that it's been updated, we can click back on the first tab here near the upper left, and we'll be able to see the mockup with our newly inserted design. So let's go ahead and click on that. And again, that might take a moment as well. So thank you for your patience. We're gonna wait. And so clicking on that first tab will take us back to the design so we can see it updated. And we may have to click the wait button. One more time, we're gonna tell it to wait so it can finish its process. There we go. And so now we see that the logo design that we've inserted has been added there. Okay, so that's how you can use this mockup file. And keep in mind that there are other things that you can change with this as well. So if you decide, for example, that you want a different fabric background than this blue background that's here, you can always use the file option and insert another file for another image file for the background fabric, and you can just place it above this background layer here. And what you'll be able to do is add a different fabric background or different color, whatever other background you need. It doesn't have to be fabric, but you know, that's what makes most sense for the embroidery mockup. And then you can hide that existing background fabric if you like. Okay, so that's the way that it works as far as using this. Now, one more step, you want to make sure that you save this so that you can now use it for whatever you need for your business or your styles. So in order to save this newly updated image, you want to go back to the file menu, and you can either hit save, but what most people do is they use the export as option, and then you can export it in whatever format you need. So you can use the most common formats such as PNG or JPEG. For some people it might be a PDF, and then there are more options there. And so you can select one of these options. So let's say, for example, I choose the JPEG option. When I click on that, what it will do is, as it processes for saving, and again, remember it's slow for me, but a save as window will appear, and you'll be able to give this newly updated image a new file name, and you can decide where you want to save it, and you can go from there. So this is what it looks like when it says save. It gives you like a zoomed in preview of it. It lets you know the approximate size of the file. You can give it a new name. You can change the format if you want to there, and then you hit save, and it'll let you save to whatever location you want to save it to on your computer or an external device, etc. Okay, So that is how you update this mockup file using the free Photopea software. I hope that was helpful. Thanks for your purchase and have a great day.